Welcome back to RFM. I tried to fix my Dropbear 2.01 live stream. I haven't made it live, but as you know, if you saw it, I've spent a good while trying to fix it rather than bin it. I made a decision then. I'm not going to be rebuilding it. I'm going to build my own. Meet the RS Dropbear. Injection 1. Injection 2. Ignition 1. What you're looking at is the result. This is the RS Dropbear, my own variant, but specifically for a single cylinder engine. Some of the core Speeduino architecture as the version 2.01, but stripped back to exactly what I want to use for my project. Nothing more, nothing less. As far as I am concerned, it's still a Dropbear system, and it still has the DNA from what Josh Stewart done originally. The design work was done in KiCad. The 3D render gives you a good sense of scale. This board is roughly half the footprint that the original version 2.01. On my bike, the real estate under the fairings is tight. Every millimeter counts. The schematic keeps the essential architecture intact. The processor has a whopping 600 MHz Teensy 4.1 ARM Cortex M7 processor. That's a significant step up from the original ATmega based Speeduino. More processing headroom, faster interrupt response and better resolution for the crank inputs. For a high revving engine, the last one matters the most. As we're trying to make things simple, I've removed the max chip on there. I don't intend to use a VR sensor. On a 2-stroke single, you don't need the complexity of a multi-cylinder setup. So this is all cleaned out and simplified accordingly. Power regulations here, clean stable voltage for the processor, and the output drivers non-negotiable on a bike that's going to be vibrating and have huge electrical noise from the ignition system. What I have kept across the whole design is mapped TPS inputs, 2 injector channels, 1 ignition output, and I will be having a wideband input, but this will be communicated with the RSU 4.9 sensor using the CAN bus system, and a boss will be welded into my exhaust. What I have removed is everything that my bike don't need. If you've ever laid a PCB out and thought it would be straightforward just to delete a few bits that you don't want, well, it isn't. Pull one component and there's 3 other connections that have nowhere to go. It's exactly like tidying the workshop. With one thing and something else falls off a bench. I spent more time rerouting ground planes and surplus wiring on the PCB than I actually did removing components. I'm fairly sure KiCad does it deliberately. These are the boards back from the fab. Red solder mask. Having a few made at once costs almost nothing extra. Sensible when you're building something you've designed yourself and you haven't proven it will work in the real world yet. Before a single component goes near that board, the paste goes on. This is a laser cut stencil matched exactly to the pad layout. Align it over the board, hold it down, and the paste spreads across it. The spreader here is just an old driving license I used. One firm pass the stencil, constant pressure, then peel it back clearly. Try not to smudge it when you lift it. What's left is a deposit of paste on every pad. It sounds a bit fussy, but the difference between a constant reflow and spreading hours chasing solder bridges under a microscope. If you're doing some SMD work at home and you're not using a stencil, this is an upgrade that you will change your result overnight. I don't claim to be an expert at this at all. I'm clearly just a hobbyist, but with persistence and willingness, I managed to get the job done. Hot air reflow, the paste melts, the component self-centers on the pad, surface tension does the work for you. If the paste went on correctly, keep the temperature constant and keep it moving. Don't dwell on one spot, you'll burn the chip or the board. The through-hole work goes in last. Headers and connections, these are the mechanical connection points, so you need to have a solid connection. This is why they go through the board. Take your time on these high density headers. One bridge on one of these connectors will cost you more time fault finding than the 30 seconds it takes to solder it in properly. And that brings us back to where we started. Board populated, inspected, outputs confirmed on the scope, injection 1, injection 2, ignition 1, present and correct. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel, like, comment, anything. If I've done anything wrong, let me know. Like I said, I am just an amateur at this, and if you've got any tips or anything like that, please give me a comment down below and I'll see if I can improve my soldering skills. Be much appreciated. Thank you, and until next time, I'll see you soon. Hopefully next time we will be installing this on the bike and have the first run on fuel injection. Injection 1, injection 2, ignition 1.